Hi everybody, I'm April Cummings and this is Cayman Life. We live in a small community here, and maybe that's why sometimes we don't recognize the extraordinary impact one of our own has had on the world. In his lifetime, Bob Soto's vision of sharing the beauty of Cayman's underwater world with everyone else changed our history and created a global industry.
As a kid growing up here in Georgetown, I lived on the water.
Pioneer, visionary, entrepreneur, and the father of scuba diving, the late Captain Bob Soto had many a moniker. To Susie, his wife of more than 30 years and soulmate, she simply knew him as Bob.
He was amazing.
Amazing is an understatement, really, when you consider how influential Mr. Soto's early work was in today's dive industry. But when he first started out on his underwater business, it was far from plain sailing.
He would go to the hotels, and the hoteliers would say, "No, you're not going to take my guests out and drown them." And so he would slip around to the bars at night, show, films and stuff. He'd take a few people out. They'd go back and rave about it.
Word of mouth spread quickly, but Bob's biggest sales asset was Bob himself.
He brought this love to the people he took out, and his vivaciousness and his excitement got them excited. And so scuba diving began to grow, and it grew into a really wonderful business here and for tourism.
Mr. Soto died in March 2015. While many mourned and remembered the man credited for bringing scuba diving not just to the Cayman Islands but to the world, his wife grieved in a different way, fulfilling a promise she made to him to ensure his memory would live on in print.
When he died, I didn't have time to grieve. I was doing the book. I was fulfilling the promise.
Bob Soto's biography, aptly titled Extraordinary Adventures, isn't just about his underwater scuba experiences. It charts the life of a true Caymanian hero, growing up in a Cayman a world away from today, to charting his time with the U.S. Navy. But there is one common denominator in every tale: the ocean.
It's peaceful, tranquil. You find a bit of your soul, and you lose your soul to the sea, and you're hooked for life.
Mr. Soto was hooked for sure, and because of his work, many others followed him and became equally addicted.
He started an industry here that has brought millions of dollars to Cayman and to Caymanians, and opened the world of underwater to so many people.
One group he honored more than most were the many veterans he stood shoulder to shoulder with, those who served their country in times of conflict.
We work together to honor a lot of Caymanians, and I'm very protective of that part of our life. But I want people to go see the monument. We have one picture in the book of a little boy about 5 years old standing there saluting the monument, and that brought tears to my eyes. So the Caymanian seamen were so well respected, and all around the world, and they weren't fools. And so I have a duty to the veterans and to the seamen to remain loyal to them as Bob was. And they're wonderful people, and their stories should be told always.
One story that has now been told and will live for eternity is the story of Bob Soto, Extraordinary Adventures of a Truly Extraordinary Caymanian. You can find the book at most local bookstores in Cayman and online at Amazon.com. Coming up, Izzy Obi puts Cayman on the fashion map at one of the hottest style destinations in the U.S. as she competes to become Emerging Fashion Designer of the Year. Also ahead, love food, love family, meet a young woman combining her passions to create a unique and fun experience. You're watching the Cayman Life Show on Cayman Life TV.
There are many companies out there who offer insurance. So why choose Cayman first? Well, for starters, we have over 30 years experience in the general insurance market, covering homes, businesses, health, motoring, and boats. And what's more, the expertise we've acquired from this can be attested by our consistently high AM Best rating. What does this mean? It means we've been recognized by an organization which has been reporting on the health of the international insurance market since 1899. In other words, if you stick with us, you're in safe hands. But that's not all. Did you know we're the only insurance company in Cayman which offers a first response accident service for motor insurance customers, where we can sort out your claim at the scene of the accident? And when it comes to health insurance, we have discounts with health providers in the US to keep costs down for the critical emergency overseas treatment. And we also have access to over 500,000 healthcare providers around the world. When it comes to insurance, we put you, your family, and your business first, because for us, it's Cayman first. Call us today on 949-7028 or visit us at www.caymanfirst.com for more information.
Miriam Foster loves friends, loves family, and loves food. So she's decided to start a club that brings all those things together. It's called the Soul Foodie Supper Club, food with heart.
1 can of tomatoes is good.
This isn't some fancy gourmet kitchen. It's just Miriam's kitchen.
I just want to welcome you all to the first ever Soul Foodie Family Supper Club.
Tonight, her guests are getting treated to an extraordinary meal
So I'm going to let that cook down.
with access to the chef up close and personal.
I've gone ahead and I've just slow cooked this.
It's an opportunity to showcase the culinary arts in Cayman, but also for families to get together for a home-cooked meal without having to wash a single dish or prepare anything, because we've got amazing local talent that is available here to cater to us.
The first course we're going to do is a jerk chicken soft taco.
Those that are part of the supper club will be able to get to make it what they want. You know, do you want a dinner in the dark? Do you want to have a Korean meal? Do you want to have a night in Paris?
This is a good way to just start our taste buds off.
Do you want to do an all pumpkin affair? Whatever it is, but we'll get to be able to drive it and just get together with friends and family.
Once we add the coconut oil, it'll all come together.
So how is this supper club different than going out to eat at a restaurant? Well, for one thing, there's a lot less pressure.
Does everyone have one yet?
Everybody, of course, asked me, what should I bring? And I said, nothing. And they, you know, and that's the concept behind it, is don't bring anything, just bring yourself and just come to relax and enjoy a home-cooked meal.
At this very first supper club,
Today is literally an experiment for me.
Maureen Cubbin takes diners on a unique journey of flavor and tells the story of how it deliciously all comes together.
This is our first supper club, so I think it would be really great to just show off and talk a little bit about localizing food, talking on understanding about what does it mean to source locally, what does it mean to look at being smart about where your food comes from, and then just rolling into hopefully some traditional dishes that people like, and just seeing how you can, again, localize those flavors.
So where did this crazy idea come from? Well, Miriam's inspiration came in part from Art Nest, a new collaborative hub for artists in Cayman.
The idea is to shine on it and to show that Cayman is full of creative people as well, and that we don't have to go overseas to find talent. We got some great talent right in-house.
We're going to add this, and then once the oils start slicking on the top,
It's just all of us kind of getting together and saying, oh, it would be lovely if we did this. And then someone says, oh, I can do that, and I can do that. And just sharing and collaborating.
just meat and sauce.
But it is about being able to feed that passion and be able to sustain ourselves in some way.
And when your passion is bringing friends, family, and future friends together over a meal, it's a fulfilling collaboration.
So thank you.
If you'd like more information, just give Miriam a shout. And if you're interested in learning about Art Nest, you can visit them at Pasadora Place or on their Facebook page. When Izzy V Design was selected as a finalist in the Phoenix Fashion Week Emerging Designer Competition, Izzy Opie was pretty excited. Now she's knee-deep in the challenge, but loving every minute of it.
Yay, you look great. I love that.
Izzy Opie is in boot camp.
Participating is not a decision you take lightly, because they do warn you at the start that this is going to be probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do.
One of Cayman's standout designers, she's competing in the Phoenix Fashion Week's Emerging Designer of the Year competition, selected from a pool of hundreds from around the world.
I'm the first designer from the Caribbean to be selected, which is really exciting for me. And I hope, with my experience, to encourage other Caribbean designers.
And somehow, with only 4 months on the calendar, she has to do what normally takes years to make a reality.
It really is a boot camp, so we get given a series of challenges every few days, every few weeks, And just when you think you are close to finishing one challenge, something else comes up.
Whether it's a lookbook or a mini teaser collection or building an app, every challenge has a purpose.
It's really great because every challenge that you're set is something that you need in your business.
But that does not mean it's been easy. Ariana Bignell-Williams has been interning with Izzy over the summer. She couldn't have picked a better time to see just what the industry is all about, both the highs and the lows.
I get nervous for her sometimes just because, there's deadlines and then there's, so much brain power that has to go into it, but she always nails it, so it's inspiring as well.
So far, Izzy has nailed multiple challenges, and as the competition nears the home stretch, a huge fashion show in front of thousands. Izzy is hoping those countless hours will pay off.
And I just have to remind myself what my ultimate goal is, which is to build my fashion brand, which is my dream. So, this is how hard you have to work to build something that means so much to you, then I'm doing it.
And we're happy to report that Izzy B won the competition. You can visit the website at izzybdesign.com. And we also want to share with you the amazing video that Izzy submitted to the competition using local talent, including students from the SciFec program. Still ahead, what could possibly convince us to wear fruit on our heads? The National Gallery's Club Havana Gala, of course, and a living legend of rock in the Cayman Islands, showcasing his work and talking about the power of art and music. You're watching the Cayman Life Show.
Attention all people of Prospect. Logic Fiber has been unleashed in your area.
Now you can get the fastest and most reliable connection with our new Triple Play bundle. Get Logic Fiber Internet, phone, and TV for only $99 per month with 1 month free. Plus, all packages now offered with no contract, free installation, free video on demand, and free Wi-Fi. Visit logic.ky or call 745-5555 to learn more. Logic, your life connected. Available in Salsa, Georgetown, 7 Mile Beach, West Bay, and now in Prospect.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
It only happens once a year, but when it does, the National Gallery never fails to impress. And this year's fundraiser was just as glitzy and glamorous as years past, but this time with a Cuban twist.
up. Again, it's a very hot topic right now. They have an amazing art scene in Cuba. We have a lot of good relations with various artists in Cuba, and we felt it was really timely.
This may well be our very own National Gallery here in Cayman, but for one night only, it took a trip back in time. Think Havana.
This is just a very glam vibe, right? So tropical, 1930s Hollywood, Cuba, it seemed like a fun theme for us.
The gallery's annual fundraiser is a must-see event on the calendar. Money raised helps support future projects and ensures Cayman's art world thrives for years to come. But for some, making sure they look the part was a little tricky.
I think it's really lovely. It's a nice theme, Cuban theme. It was a really challenge for me to get dressed for it, but hope I pull it off.
And he did, just like everyone in attendance. None more so than Jo Adams, whose own interpretation of Havana certainly went to her head.
Well, it's just the most amazing hat I think I've ever seen. I've borrowed it off of a friend.
These extravagant headpieces weren't borrowed. They're actually homemade.
Neither of us would consider ourselves particularly crafty. But we did in fact get the glue gun out and made a nice event of actually just choosing our outfits together.
And the gallery itself came alive to the beat. Funds raised from the event help future generations understand the importance art has in our society.
We are part government funded, but we have a huge amount to raise every year, and each of our education programs is actually based on either corporate sponsorship or fundraising events like this. They really wouldn't happen without the generosity of our members and our friends and our public.
To find out more about how you can support the National Gallery, you can visit them online at nationalgallery.org.ky. Now, obviously, the gala is just one facet of the gallery. Part of their work, the core of their work really, is to create creative opportunities. And our next story is certainly evidence they're doing that. So some of you may have heard of Carl Palmer. He is a living legend. He's played in some of the biggest rock bands of all time. He is also an artist. The tragic loss of his bandmate and friend Keith Emerson inspired him to create a new piece of work, which he shared with supporters of the National Gallery right here in Cayman.
I think it's been a nice way of involving a lot of other people that normally wouldn't come to a situation like this.
Carl Palmer was in Cayman recently to showcase his signature collection of fine art, a collaboration he has created with acclaimed Los Angeles art team Scene 4.
This actually is dedicated to a colleague of mine who I worked with for about 16 years. We were in a group together called Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Unfortunately, he died at the beginning of the year, around about March the 11th. And I had a very sort of brief window of time to be able to create something to remember him by, basically, or a tribute.
Mr. Palmer paints what he knows best, his drumming skills, using a combination of light and paint to create the work on display here in Cayman. Special drumsticks were used with LED lights attached in a dark room. This was captured on camera and paint added later to the images created.
I decided to try and capture, using 2 digital cameras, different shutter speeds, apertures and all of this that are going on. We have to go through, about 8 to 10 camera positions with the 2 cameras. Then we'll finally get something that we think will be right. Don't know. And then we work on that, and something like that will take about 7 to 8 hours. And that's without changing any color channels. As you see it, that's how it came out. This one has been embellished. So what I've done, I've added paint to this as well. So this is really a piece of crossover electronic fusion art into the old world of actually using paint and a brush.
After decades at the forefront of the music business, Mr. Palmer first spotted the potential of turning music into art in the early days, when he was a member of the psychedelic rock band, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
So we used a lot of strobe lights, and I do recall when I was 18, I noticed every time my drumstick passed through the air when the strobe lights were on, I'd see this kind of like snap sort of photograph type of shadow thing, and I thought, well, that's sort of interesting, and that's what actually led me to the photo that's at the front of the book with the light bulbs and the cable and the battery on the floor, because I thought there's something in this.
Unlike music, Mr. Palmer firmly believes no matter how hard he tried, he could not recreate the work on canvas. It really is a one-off.
There is no formula that works every time. So That particular canvas at the back, if I was to try it again today, using the same colours, the same set, the same cameraman, the same computer to feed it into for me, everything the same, can't get it. It's given to you.
While in Cayman, Mr. Palmer passed on some of his vast musical knowledge to school children, teaching them how to play percussion at the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands. And he believes the best policy is to teach people while they're young.
The sooner you start, the sooner your mind opens up and you start to investigate, you get inquisitive, your learning abilities improve in many other things just through playing a musical instrument.
He feels exposing them to new technology from an early age will ultimately hit the right note.
The exposure to that kind of art and what's going on now in technology as early as you possibly can, it's great, you know. I mean, when I walk through airports and I see little kiddies sitting in the prams and things being pushed through, and they've got a tablet hanging up on the back of the thing, and they're doing this, and they don't know really what they're doing, but they're touching the screen and things are moving. It's lovely. I mean, that's the way it should be, really.
So whether it's music, painting, photography, or even just playing with a tablet, this rock icon firmly believes when it comes to learning, you're never too young to start. To learn more, just check out carlpalmerart.com. More Cayman Life just ahead.
Ready for the next one? What color's the feather, Eduardo?
The way that Miss Heather teaches has greatly impacted the lives of the students.
It is yellow. Good job.
And really enabled them to have a better quality of life, which is really what it's all about.
I want to highlight the positive things that are going on at Lighthouse School.
These students, every time we go in, it excites us all to see them living the motto, yes we can.
Our children's abilities range from, being in a wheelchair, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome.
Good job, Alia. Good job. Tian, can you find the same?
Oftentimes we have a student that's in a wheelchair but also hard of hearing.
Good job, Tian.
So there's multiple disabilities going on at the same time.
These students are working at level just like any normal child, and they have actual targets that are set for them. So it's not that they're just getting busy work, they're actually working and they're making accomplishments just like the mainstream school.
Miss Heather is a very creative teacher.
Good job, Ken. Nice matching.
She looks at each individual child and sees what engages them, what actually excites them, and then through that means she sort of teaches them key skills that they need.
Ken got the right answer.
To progress and move forward.
I am the parent of Brandon McTaggart.
All right, B, we're gonna sing our alien song.
Who has cerebral palsy. He cannot sit up, walk, talk, eat, or anything, and he attends the Lighthouse School.
The alien, good. I once met an alien, I once met an alien.
These teachers and caregivers work so hard, probably a lot harder than even the majority of other teachers in the school, just because these children are the critical children. They're the ones that have so many special needs.
That's very good.
And they're all so individual. So I think these teachers are constantly have to think out of the box. They're constantly having to be up on their toes, constantly having to chase them around, constantly trying to figure out how to teach them, how to bring out their best potential.
Run in, good boy.
She really understands the need to allow students to express themselves, to make choices, and to be in control of their own environment. And she enables them to communicate in whatever way they can.
That's what's fun about it too, right? Designing things that, are going to pique their interest, and they're smiling when they're engaging in the activity, and it's fun, so they want to continue to do it.
Some students that if you were to ever see them just on the street, you may think that, they're limited as to what they can do, but then you put them in this environment and they're blossoming and having a wonderful time.
Yellow.
Come by and visit. The children love having people come out.
Red.
The school is wide open for volunteers.
Can you point to red, Tian?
And I think that it would bring about some sensitivity and awareness.
Good job, Tian. You found red.
Because they are our citizens, our special citizens, and we need more people to be aware of that. So I think probably that would be the biggest thing, is just be involved.
I gave him all my M&Ms, I gave him all my M&Ms.
Brandon is happy to be at school. When you ask him, you want to go to school, he smiles. He's happy to be here, which means that he's getting the love, the care, the attention, and the stimulation that he needs to make him happy to be here. And then that makes me happy.
I gave him all my M&Ms and chocolate bars.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Cayman Life Show. We're online at caymanlife.tv, and you can watch us if you have cable television on Logic Channel 33. Remember, you can always keep up with the latest events and activities on our website. We have an events calendar. It's free and easy to use. You can submit your own events at any time. We also curate the top news of the day and week in the Cayman News Rundown. Remember to visit us on Facebook and tell us what you think about Cayman Life.